the morning steam, it's time to break, run for cover. That's gonna cover, that's gonna cash. Then we make the 100-yard dash to the window. I don't know what you thought. It's Ramon Scott, running so hot. Sports make money and we make money with sports money every single day. NFL, NHL, NCAA. Stay away from the juice, we might play a parlay. It's the morning steam. What? Ramon Scott, sports money. What? Wake your ass up and let's get to the money. Get to the money. You know how we do it.
All right, a pleasant good morning to you, coming from the sports betting capital of the world, Las Vegas. This is Ramon Scott, and welcome to the Morning Steam Show here for Monday, March the 9th. We're ready to start a new week. We're up bright and early or so here on the first Monday of the time change here for most everyone, and going to have a great week here of sports betting, including here on Monday and college basketball tournament action. We've got a couple of tournaments to decide more teams to go to the NCAA tournament. We've also got games in the NBA, NHL, and welcome to those of you who just watched Team Korea advance to the quarterfinals of the World Baseball Classic just moments ago, wrapping it up against Australia 7-2, setting off a big celebration there for Korea. You can see how much it means to these teams, these countries there. They were on the edge of their seat with a 7-2 lead there in the ninth inning and with really no problem, but they get the advance there. And Australia, great tournament for them with a couple of wins over Great Britain and Italy, and able to, or I'm thinking I have the wrong opponent there, but great tournament there, and nonetheless for Australia with a couple of wins that they had in the tournament here. We want to make sure I get it right there. Australia, of course, not able to come through, but Korea gets the advance there with a 7-2 victory there just moments ago. They advance here to the quarterfinals. It was in Pool C. That's what it was. Pool C there with Australia. They had the wins, of course, over Chinese Taipei and Czechia. I knew I'd get it right. And then they win there. Japan will advance, of course, here in the tournament as well. And South Korea there gets the advance. Korea gets the advance. Okay, I think I got it right. They were celebrating. I know they were celebrating there. And I think my brackets here. I think I didn't bust my brackets, but South Korea does advance. Korea advances here at the World Baseball Classic. There are some games here in the morning as well in the World Baseball Classic. I say morning, but coming up here in just a little while here, we do have a couple of games here at noon Eastern time, 2 games at noon Eastern, actually, with Colombia and Panama, Dominican Republic and Brazil, or Dominican Republic and Israel. I'm trying to get all the games straight. And Brazil and Great Britain. That's the one that both teams are 0-2. But 2 other games of note here at the World Baseball Classic today. So we'll have a good day of some baseball action here. Also had some great action over the weekend with the golf. Akshay Bhatia gets 4 birdies in a row to start the final round, got an eagle, then one in a playoff as Daniel Berger could not go wire to wire, gets nipped in extra hole there at the Arnold Palmer Invitational as he lost his 4-shot lead basically from the turn. And Batia gets the win. Kind of looking for a breakthrough win. He kind of got one there on Sunday. Also, in NASCAR, Ryan Blaney pulled off the upset with a strong run, finishing ahead of Bell, Larson, and Reddick, snapping his 3-race win streak. Blaney weaved through the field to catch the leaders with 10 laps left to get the win in NASCAR at the Phoenix 250. Also, IndyCar, Joseph Newgarden won the first race of the season as Alex Palou hit the wall. Formula One, George Russell got the win. Russell and Leclerc yesterday, we were talking about it. They're past each other 6 times in the first 9 laps. You don't see that at that race. Exciting. Then Russell ran away from the field to win the Australian Grand Prix. All right, we do have a little bit of breaking news here, just getting going to start the show. As the Dolphins have announced here that they're going to be releasing Tua Tagovailoa with a post-June 1st designation here. So that might change things up a little bit because Miami, they might even be worse next year here. Minka Fitzpatrick is reported to be traded to the Jets as well. So the Dolphins are going to go for a bit of a rebuild here, it looks like right now. That just coming in here a little while ago that Tua will be released. No surprise, I guess, the way it had been talked about. But that one just breaking here within the last few minutes officially anyway, that they would release Tua here. We'll see if he gets picked up by anybody. You know, he's got some issues there, certainly, with his passing, with his delivery. Maybe he just needs that right opportunity here. We know there's some teams looking for a quarterback, but does Tua fit in anybody's offense here? All right, we did have some winners here yesterday on the morning steam, and thank you for joining me here. We're going to get to the action here in just a bit with our previews. We do have extra college basketball previews today. I'll be looking at the 2 championship games and 1 game in each conference as well. We'll also look at those NBA and NHL games, but did have some winners here yesterday and a great day of college basketball, including, how about Georgia Southern? We're going to preview that tournament in just a little bit, but the Eagles have won. They did it. They went right up the ladder and won 5 days in a row. They're culminating with yesterday's win over Marshall, all scoring a bunch of points in those games. They'll play Troy tonight for the Sun Belt title. They're playing for their 5th straight back-to-back. We always talk about the back-to-backs. If you got a problem with it, don't tell this team. They're playing their 5th straight back-to-back. Can they win their 6th game in a row and win the Sun Belt tournament? We'll talk about it. Missouri Valley championship yesterday. Northern Iowa over Illinois. Chicago as the number 6 seed beat the number 5 seed in the MVC final. Northern Iowa gets to the NCAA tournament for the first time in 10 years. Summit tournament on Sunday saw North Dakota beat North Dakota State 70-62. We had the winner here on the morning steam with the under yesterday as the Bison get to the NCAA tournament for the first time since 2019. North Dakota State's won 17 of their last 19 games. Southern Conference tournament, it was East Tennessee State over Western Carolina, 69-67 to get into the finals. They'll play Furman tonight. Western Carolina led by 17, and they led by 8 with 3 minutes left in the game. And East Tennessee came back to get that stunning victory there yesterday, 69-67 at the Southern Conference Big South final. High Point hammered Winthrop in the Big South final, 91-76 as High Point won for the 14th straight game there. We did go with Winthrop there. High Point did do the job. Good job by High Point as Panthers advance. They've had a bunch of coaches. They actually had 4 coaches in the last 5 years. They almost beat Purdue last year, remember, in the tournament, ended up losing by 12 points. See what High Point has in store with their great record. Atlantic Sun final, it was Queens over Central Arkansas in overtime. Central Arkansas posted a monster comeback in the final moments to force the overtime there, but Queens will go to the NCAA tournament in their fourth year as a D1 team here. Queens got the win. We had the winner here on the morning steam with the total over in that game. West Coast Conference semifinal, Oregon, and a good one over San Francisco, 78-77. The Beavers trailed 11-0 out of the gate, but they came back shooting well from three-point range. And Oregon State will play in tonight's semifinal against Gonzaga. You know, Wayne Tinkle, I don't know what's going on there. I mean, Wayne Tinkle basically has been fired here by Oregon State. They are one win away from going to the tournament now. They'd have to beat Gonzaga, but nonetheless, man, you know, remember Oregon State went to the Elite Eight back just about 5 years ago with Wayne Tinkle, and now he's on the way out there in the West Coast Conference because I don't know. I mean, they didn't win. I mean, those Pac teams in the West Coast Conference. But all right, a few more here. Campbell upset Wilmington, the number 1 seed. The Seahawks were 21-10, but they get beat by the Campbell Camels there in Coastal play as they got underway there in the quarterfinals. But it was Campbell winning it as an underdog, 85-70, as the top 2 seeds in the Coastal lost. Campbell will play Monmouth in Monday's semifinals. MAAC tournament, Merrimack beat Marist 58-57. They were a 3-point favorite but did not cover. Merrimack only played 6 guys in the game. Very slow tempo, I'll note there for Merrimack. You really got to note the tempo there for Merrimack. They will take today off, but then they'll come back with their final as Fairfield lost to Siena 76-61. Another slow possession game there. A few more points, but just 64 possessions in that game in the MAAC tournament. We'll see what happens in the finals, but probably got to think about the under, I would guess, in that one. Big Sky, Portland State over Idaho State. To advance here, and Portland State goes to the semifinals on Tuesday night. It was 85-78 as Portland State got, I think, kind of back on track, we'll just say there. And the Big Skies in a little bit of a different way. They're running the tournament there, but they'll have more action here this week. Tonight it's Northern Colorado, Montana. Weber State and Eastern Washington will preview one of those games. From Boise, also Patriot tournament. How about Boston U defeating Navy 53-52 on that great finish? An incredible shot there by BU to win it at the buzzer beater from long distance, and Boston U beat Navy there. Navy was a 6.5-point favorite, one of the hotter teams in the country, and they were beat by Boston U. And Boston U will play Lehigh in the finals on Wednesday night. Boston U's won 4 in a row and 8 of their last 9. Also, Big Ten wrapped up play was Nebraska over Iowa, 84-75 in overtime. The Cornhuskers finished in a 3-way tie for second place after the win. Michigan beat Michigan State 90-80, snapping Michigan State's 5-game winning streak. Michigan ended up winning the Big Ten by 4 games, actually, and Spartans finished in a 3-way tie for second. Michigan dominated. Illinois over Maryland, 78-72. Didn't come close to the money, laying 16 points in there. Illinois, 3 of their 4 losses. They've lost 4 of their last 20. 3 of those were in overtime. And a rough year for Maryland in the Big Ten. They went 4-16. All right, let me say hello to some folks here in the chat and get rolling with the show today. I don't think it'll be a long show. Hopefully we'll be off the air here in time for the World Baseball Classic. Bobby Mack was in here first. Hope you guys find me in here. I had some technical issues here with the stream to start, but James Parham, good morning. Is Robert wrapping it up there with the Bucks? Are they done here? We did have some winners yesterday in the NBA here on the Morning Steam show. We were able to come through with a a few picks there yesterday, including the Lakers over the Knicks. We had the Lakers. Yeah, we had them over the Knicks there yesterday. Lakers with the win over the Knicks. And also here we had the under in Boston and Cleveland yesterday in that early game on ABC. We also had the Miami Heat over the Detroit Pistons. We had the Toronto Raptors over Dallas. Man, we had a lot of winners here on the morning team. We had the Orlando Magic as well for a winner here on the show. We had the San Antonio Spurs. Did we win all the games yesterday? Did we win all the games yesterday here on the morning team? We did. We did. We went 9-0 yesterday. Let's take a look at this. Man, what am I doing here? Burying the lead? Boston, Cleveland under, Lakers over the Knicks, Heat over the Pistons, Toronto over Dallas there yesterday. That was a winner. That was a winner, right? Also, we didn't play the Wizards and the Pelicans on the show. We had Orlando over Milwaukee yesterday. They got it done, right? We had the Spurs. Didn't they rock the Rockets there? Phoenix Suns getting it done against Charlotte. That was our morning steam winner. Portland Trailblazers over Indiana. We had that one, and we had the Kings. Wow, 9-0 yesterday here on the morning steam. Is anybody keeping score? Man, good day. Hockey wasn't as good. How did we not retire here? Hockey wasn't as solid, but we did have some winners, including the Minnesota Wild there on the puck line, remember, against Colorado. Hemmed and hawed about adding the puck line there. Also, we had a winner with the Pittsburgh Penguins over Boston. We had that one. Chicago over Dallas over. We had that one as well. We had Detroit over New Jersey there yesterday as a morning steam winner as well. Geez, how am I not retired here today after all these winners yesterday? We did push, I believe, there in the Edmonton. Oh, no, I think we got hooked there in the Edmonton and Vegas game. Okay, we found a loser there yesterday. And also, we didn't win St. Louis and Anaheim. So, okay, just 4-3 there in the NHL yesterday, right? Oh, man. Oh, boy. That's okay. All right, and let's see. I'm going to go through the other people here. I think we got enough in here. We got 3 dozen of you ready to go. Public Enemy is ready to go. Josh is ready to go. JP Farley is ready. And Cash Kane here. R. Thompson as well. And Terrell, I hear you, Terrell. Eventually, yesterday afternoon, when there was a kind of a lull in between the early basketball and the late, I had to catch up on that 1 hour there. I had to turn in. Hey, Trevor of all trades is here today. Nice to see Trevor of all trades. He's saying fire Tinkle to get the all new powerful. Yeah, Trevor, I feel bad for old Tinkle. Tinkle. They used to say that on the old Match Game show instead of they'd say Tinkle back when you couldn't say dirty words on TV. And the great hello, Dimitri Mamo, yesterday here, ready to go for today. All right, and there's Terrell. All right, it will be hard to duplicate the 9-0 in the NBA, but I'm going to try it with previewing 4 games today. Well, we're going to skip the Grizzlies and the Nets, although I don't know, you could say the Grizzlies still with a chance here a little bit, but all right, I think we're ready to go here with some of our previews and some of our headlines here today. We didn't cover the Max Crosby trade too much yesterday, but he gets shipped out for 2 number 1 picks, of course, to the Raiders. Apparently, the Raiders rejected the Cowboys' offer of a 1 and a 2 and a defensive player, and the Bears offered a 1 and a 2 as well. But the Ravens were able to step in there and get the pick there. So I think that kind of does it here. Let's get ready to go with our show. Make sure everybody's happy and ready to go here on a Monday. USA will play Mexico tonight in the World Baseball Classic. USA 2-0 in that one. They'll clinch group play there. Shohei Ohtani, though, a couple of homers for Japan, and get those other games going here today as well. All right. Let's get started. We have to get started here right now. I'm watching the Paralympics this morning. I don't wake up early though to watch it, but still nice ambient programming here. I'm going to start off with the NBA and get to the action right now and get it going here with the Philadelphia 76ers taking on the Cleveland Cavaliers. NBA action here for a Monday, and this spread's been going up a little bit here so far with the Cavaliers now up to a 12.5-point favorite. Ooh, boy, kind of on the run here with the Cavs, but the Sixers have some major injury concerns coming into this game. Not only is Joel Embiid sidelined for this game as he continues to nurse an oblique strain, but Tyrese Maxey's already been ruled out of this game, and BJ Edgecombe's also questionable with a back injury. They're going to kind of need him, but if they don't have him, that's no wonder that Cleveland is a 12.5-point favorite. The total 227 here with this one. For the Cavs, Jared Allen is questionable. Proctor, he's questionable as well. For the Cavs here, they come in off of that loss to Boston there yesterday. I may have had the total right, but just to be clear, I was on the Celtics in that game personally, thinking they could beat. I was on the Cavs on that game personally, thinking they could beat the Celtics. We had the total right as our pick on the show, but I kind of liked Cleveland in that game. I thought, Boston, they come in here looking like a motivated team with their lineup healthy all of a sudden. I thought maybe they'd take, kind of one off after winning with Tatum back in the lineup, but man, they just continue to look impressive here, and they got the win over Cleveland, 109-98. Cleveland was actually a small favorite in that game, of course, at home. Snapped their two-game winning streak here. We know Cleveland has kind of been a crummy cover all season long, and here they are again, laying a big number to a Philadelphia team that still is 19-10 against the spread. On the road, they are 13-15 against the spread as an underdog. You could say that, they're getting these extra points. Maybe that'll help them out here. There's still a quality team covering numbers as far as on the road is concerned. Cleveland is a dismal 13-20 against the spread at home, 18-32 against the spread as a favorite. Philadelphia, though, has failed to cover in 4 straight games. They're coming in off of a loss at Atlanta, 125-116. They did beat Utah before that, but they failed to cover the spread in that one as well. So, yeah, you do have them failing in 4 straight games. Cleveland at least has a couple of covers here of late in their last 4 games coming in. Cleveland has won 7 of their last 8 and 15 of their last 20. Philadelphia has covered 8 of the last 12 meetings between the two teams, so maybe they could still hang in here despite this monster number here right now. Like I said, all the way up to 12.5. It was 11 there, I think, there for a while. Philadelphia, though, just 1-4 against the spread in their last 5. They've actually lost 6 of the last 7 games to Cleveland. Overall, Philadelphia's gone over in 5 of their last 6 games on the road. Cleveland, meanwhile, has gone under in 4 of their last 6, but the series has gone over in 6 of their last 7 games. So how do you think this will be affected here with these key injuries? And the move has been on Cleveland here, apparently here so far, but I want to hear from you in the chat, see what you think in this one between Philadelphia and Cleveland here today. Let me hear from the chat all-stars here right now. When you do comment, we do put your name into a drawing, and you can win some free picks from me here at winnable.com/Ramon. I have a drawing at the end, and you can win 1 month worth of picks from me. Wouldn't you take some picks from the man who went 9-0 yesterday on his morning show? If you mention anything in the comments, you'll be eligible for the drawing. Let's go to the folks in the chat here right now. Jimmy Lambo was happy to get rid of 2 of there. There's Justin Stacks McKelvey in the chat. He does like the over here in this one. Our Toms, he's on the over as well. Maybe it comes down to what you think about Maxey here, but Cleveland in the under here for Public Enemy. Hello to JP Farley in the chat. Justin says, no, Maxie, give me Quentin Grimes. Go over in his points here. Nine Legacy says Cavaliers on the spread. Cavaliers team total over. And Terrell says, look, the Cavs were playing well. They covered 6 straight in a row at home before losing yesterday, so they'll go back to cover today. He'll take them in the first quarter, first half, and full game. Roberts on the under here in this one. And that's what I'm going to do too. I'm going to get in on the under here in this one. We'll see how it's affected here with those key players out. And sometimes when key players are out, it does affect them defensively as well. But I'm going to take the under here in this one. The Cavs are still 12-21 to the under at home, and that's how I'm going to play it. Give me the under here with the Sixers and the Cavs. All right, we're going to continue on here right now with our NBA previews, and we got a good one here, although you wonder what the true motivations are. Now, Denver, interestingly enough, has slipped down to the number 6 seed here in the Western Conference right now, so that might alone start to provide enough motivation for them to be involved here in this one. OKC's back to another great winning streak right now. They're 2.5 games ahead of San Antonio. They've won 5 straight. The Spurs have won 4 straight. They're in a mad dash for this number 1 seed. They're not taking any time off. Meanwhile, for Denver, they are up against a team that, let's just face it. I mean, Denver has not had a big-time success against the Oklahoma City Thunder winning-wise, but against the spread, they do have some success. In fact, it's kind of been the Thunder usually wins, but the Nuggets often gets the money in the series. But we'll have to see what happens here. Like I said, you do have a Denver team that has slipped right now to 6th place overall. Now, that's the cutoff point, of course, to kind of avoid the play-in. But the Nuggets are 39-25 here in 6th place. They're kind of tied with the Lakers. The Rockets are half a game ahead of those 2 teams, and the Wolves are ahead by 1. So between 3rd place and 6th place, those teams are separated by just 1 game. So that's not a terrible situation, but it would be nice for the Nuggets if they could win one of these games and kind of move up a little bit. They're probably not going to fall down here. The Suns are in 7th, but they're kind of stalled a little bit. They've won 2 in a row, but I know a lot of people have been down on the Suns. We were obviously on them there yesterday in that game against Charlotte, but let's see what you have here in this one with the Nugs and the Thunder here. Thunder laying 7-32 in this one. These 2 teams met back in February, and Oklahoma City got the win, 127-121 here at home. They were a 6.5-point favorite in that one as it went well over. Back in early December, they played in Denver. Oklahoma City won 121-111. Oklahoma City did get the money in that one on the road, laying 7.5. So other than that, though, that's really the only cover they've had here over the last few games when these 2 division rivals have met. Denver just 1-5 in their last 6 against Oklahoma City, but 5-2 against the spread against them. So they've had enough to cover, and we know Denver is a good cover. 21-13 against the spread on the road, 15-7 against the spread as an underdog. It's just they haven't looked too good here in some of these games. Look, they did beat the Lakers. They beat Utah, didn't cover. Got blown out by the Knicks here, obviously, and that alone might provide enough motivation. They lost that game by 39 points at home. Certainly the Thunder are playing well, but you also have to consider the Thunder here. Are they a completely healthy unit in this one? The Nuggets here might actually be in position to be a little bit healthier here. They've got Aaron Gordon back here right now. Now Jamal Murray is questionable, but Oklahoma City has a little bit of a list here on the injury report with Chet Holmgren is questionable. Alex Caruso is questionable. Not only, in the middle, it might be a big donut. You got Hartenstein out, Brandon Carlson out. So Chet really does need to play, or they're probably not going to have a true center in the game. A.J. Mitchell does return tonight from that abdominal strain. He's expected to be able to play here for the Oklahoma City Thunder. So let's see what you have. I've actually seen this one dip to 6.5 in several places here over the last couple of minutes. I don't know if it's getting very steamy in here, but I think it's safe to say that this game has moved down to 6.5 right now, and the total around 232. So let's see what you have here in this one with Denver and the Oklahoma City Thunder here on the Morning Steam Show. Let's get rolling here with the chat all-stars, see what you guys have. Oklahoma City, like I said, they've won 5 straight, but 0-5 against the spread in those 5 games. So Denver's gone over in 12 of their last 17. They've also gone over in 5 straight on the road. Oklahoma City has gone under in 4 of their last 5 games, but 4 of the last 5 meetings between the two teams have gone over. So let's see what we've got here right now with this one, Nuggets and Thunder. Here we go with the Nugs for Justin in the chat. Cash Kane says Nuggets get the cover. R. Tomps likes the over here. I do too. That's going to be my play, actually. Give me the over here with Denver and OKC. Feels like the defenses are going to be lacking a little bit here in this one tonight. Justin says Jokic for a triple-double. Public Enemies on the over as well. 9 Legacy. Nuggets to cover. JP Farley on the Nuggets there. Justin talking about Minka getting traded there. As we mentioned with the Dolphins, they're going to be even worse next year, it feels. And Terrell says go over. The defensive guys are out. Yeah, I definitely agree. And Nuggets here for Robert Mack and Bobby McCormick right here. I'm trying to send him out there. Bobby McCormick. Hey, also just a little bit of news here coming in. Another trade in the NFL now. The Packers are finalizing a deal to send defensive tackle Rashawn Gary to the Cowboys in exchange for a late round 2027 pick. That one just in here. Schefter mentioned it about 15 or 20 minutes ago, I see right now. So got Gary and Kenny Clark reuniting in Dallas, says Adam Schefter. All right, that's it, I think, from you guys in that one, and I'll take the over with Denver and OKC. All right, we're going to skip Memphis. We probably shouldn't with such a limited card, but I am going to preview, I think, 8 college games today. So now, you know what? Sorry, Grizzlies and Nets, but we're skipping over you here right now. Unless you guys think, do you think that the Grizzlies here can catch the Trailblazers? They do trail the Trailblazers for that number 10 slot right now by 6.5 games for the play-in, and they trail the Warriors here by 8.5 as well. So I think they're done. Let's go to the next good game there, shall we? And I've got next up the Warriors. Oops, I got a typo here. Warriors at the Jazz here in this one. The Warriors are up down to a 6-point favorite. The move has clearly been on the Utah Jazz here tonight. The total is down here to 226 in this one as the Warriors go on the road here to take on the Jazz. You know, we've certainly included the Jazz in the tankathon a little bit, and they definitely were, you know, throwing in some clunkers there for a little while, but all of a sudden the Jazz, they've covered a few games here, and they're obviously going up against a Warriors team that's certainly beat up. Without Curry here right now in this one, Moses Moody is out, and Porzingis is still out with the POTD, or what is that? Is it the play of the day? What is that illness that they're talking about here with KP? You know, we got to stop making fun of him, I guess, because, you know, he has a little bit of a problem. But Big Al is out as well. Moses Moody is out for the Warriors. Seth Curry, he's probable. We're going to get one Curry in there anyway. DeAnthony Melton, probable. But, yeah, the Warriors have a few guys certainly out here. Jazz do too. Markkanen, he's definitely out right now. So not ill or anything. He's got a hip injury. And out of this game. Collier, though, is probable, but the move clearly looks like it's on the Utah Jazz here with this spread at 6 points here right now, and the total has gone down a little bit here from as high as 228.5 down to 226. I mean, if you think of these two teams, I mean, usually you're thinking over, but there's definitely been a pretty interesting move to the under here in this one. The Warriors come in off of a loss at Oklahoma City, but they did get the money in that one. They were a dog. They lost by 7. They were getting 12. They also won against Houston, remember, in that big road win for Utah here. They just got blown out by the Milwaukee Bucks on the road by 14 points last time out. They did get covers. They beat Washington. They covered against Philly, and they covered against Denver, covering 3 of their last 4 games actually coming in for Utah here. But let's see how you have it with these two, Warriors and the Jazz here. Golden State has won 10 of the last 11 meetings between the two teams. Also, they've gone 10-4 against the spread in their last 14 against Utah overall. Warriors have dropped 6 of 9 coming in. Utah's lost 8 of 9 coming in, but they've gone 3-6. So ATS, like I said, 3-1 ATS in their last 4, 3-6 ATS in the last 9. 6 of the last 9 meetings between these two teams have gone over. Golden State's gone over in 7 of their last 10 games coming in. Like I said, these two teams would, be considered over teams in my book. You got Utah 22-10 to the over at home, 32-24 to the over as a dog. Golden State 27-14 to the over as a dog, but you got to respect the move here a little bit. But usually with these two teams, I'm not as interested there. But let me see what you got here in this one, and I'll make my pick here. I might just take the Jazz. Let's go to the chat here, shall we? All right, here we go. Warriors and Jazz from the chat All-Stars. Our Toms did like Memphis, and our Toms gave us at least a pick there on the Memphis-Brooklyn game, and so did Justin. Okay, thanks. We needed that. And Public Enemy said the Grizzlies would win too. You guys might have been just going down the board and putting the pick in, waiting for me, and I said, gotcha. We're not doing it. We're not doing it. Okay, Warriors here for Justin. Look at that price he got there. Here it might go back down to 4.5 the way this is going. Justin here, Warriors on the over as well. Steve Eleptarian joins us. 9 Legacy Jazz money line. Our Tops Warriors first half. JP Farley liking the Jazz there. Public Enemy says take the Warriors. Cash Game says lay the wood with the Warriors here. All right, and a few more here. Let's see. Terrell says Warrior don't play well when multiple guys are out and too thin, so maybe the Jazz hang in here. Jazz has been beating them on the spread, says Cash Kane here. Yeah, Warriors. Warriors have they won the meeting back in January, 140-124 as an 8.5-point favorite here in Salt Lake City. They also won at home, 123-14 back in January, but as a 12.5-point favorite, didn't cover. They did cover back in November, 134-117. So Warriors 3-0 straight up, 2-1 against the spread. Steve Eleptarian here going with the over in this one, and Robert McCormick going with the over as well. All right, I'm going under in this one, actually. I'm going to kind of buck the trends here with these two. They kind of reek of over, I know that, but I'm going to take the under in this one. All right, that leaves us with one more here on Monday night in the NBA, and it's a good one with the Knicks taking on the Clippers. We saw the Knicks pretty much, I know a lot of, I'm not saying a lot of you were on the Knicks yesterday. Maybe I got lucky there with the Lakers, but they might be a little bit more motivated now coming off of a win. Granted, they are on the back-to-back here. Plug in my device here. Always plugging it in. I need the one where you set it down. Hey, we got our first steam here of the morning. All right. Did we have any? Monmouth here is getting steamed in their matchup against the Campbell Camels. Hey, Campbell. Campbell's been a nice story. Monmouth's going to take the steam here right now. They were a 1.5 point favorite. They're up to 2.5 right now as Monmouth is getting steamed here against Campbell in the Coastal semifinal. All right, so you got the Knicks here favored by 2.5 right now, and the total 220.5 here in this one against these Clippers. Clippers continue to be impressive here. Look, they're gonna at least make the play in here, but yeah, they'd like to keep moving up here right now. You figure with the standings the way they are, the Clippers in 9th place, or one game back of the Warriors for that key 8 position here. But right now, the Knicks favored by 2.5, coming in off of that loss there yesterday to the Lakers. So will that provide enough motivation for the Knicks here? They've actually lost 2 of their last 3. Coming in, playing tough teams. They lost to OKC, but they did cover in that one. Of course, they beat up on Denver and then got stunned there a little bit, only scoring 97 points there in that last game against the LA Lakers there yesterday in the crypto. For the Clippers here, they come in off of a road win at Memphis. They didn't get the money. They were favored by 7.5. They won by 3. Before that, they had lost to San Antonio on the road, but they returned home here. They really were in a good cover streak before that game against the Memphis Grizzlies. Not going to really hold it against them after all. They did actually cover the spread in that one. The Clippers have covered 5 of their last 6 games coming into this one, but so have the Knicks. Knicks have also won 14 of their last 20, but they're just 2-5 against the Clippers in the last 7 matchups between the 2 teams. Clippers coming in here, they've won 4 of 5. 12 of the last 18 meetings between these 2 teams have gone over here in this one. The move's been a little bit on the Knicks. They were favored by 1.5. Now they're favored by 2.5. They are probably better than the Clippers, I would think, given the position of the 2 teams right now. Of course, the Knicks are in 3rd place, holding off the Cavaliers by 1.5 games. They're down 2.5 to the Celtics, but I think just 3rd place would be a good goal here for the Knicks unless they really get on a roll. For the Clippers here, meanwhile, they're in 9th place, a game out of that key position, but they'll probably make the play-in here at the number 9 slot. So let's see what you have here in this one with the Clippers taking on the Knicks. The Knicks are 14-19 against the spread on the road this season, although they are 29-24 ATS as a favorite. The 2 teams played their first meeting already back at the Garden, 123-111. The Knicks won and covered in that game. So will they bounce back here and get the win over the Clippers tonight? And let's take a look here at the injury report here real quick. John Collins is out for the Clippers. That's pretty much it. Let's go to the chat, I think, here then in this one and see what you have here in our final stop in the NBA card tonight. We've got a lot of comments here on this one. And I want to say hello to VAR today. Josh says, yeah, Josh, I'll have some tennis, I think, for sure in the premium pick packages. Hopefully you're signed up with me over there. Good day of tennis action out at Indian Wells. I don't know if anybody talking about real quick. I didn't really bang too hard on the premium picks here, but I will mention here from yesterday's picks, we did have some winners. I sent out my VIP pick on the Pacers and the Trailblazers. We did that. We did win that one in an over. Hey, real quick, here's some steam right now. St. Mary's is getting steamed right now against Santa Clara, everybody. They opened like 3.5, then it went to 4.5 here right now. But we are seeing that steam coming in here right now as we speak on the St. Mary's Gales, and they have moved up here to a 5-point favorite against Santa Clara tonight. St. Mary's. They do dominate Santa Clara, no doubt about it. They're up to 5 right now. So we won our VIP pick yesterday with the Pacers and the Trailblazers over. We did split our NBA premiums there, but we did have some winners there on the 10. We had Yannick Sinner minus 6.5 games there yesterday, but I took Ben Shelton over Lerner Tien. What happened to Ben there yesterday? But did want to mention that we did sweep our card in college baseball yesterday, a 6-0 performance by me in my college baseball premiums yesterday. Hopefully you were on board with that one. We had Alabama minus the runs over North Florida. We had Stetson and Arkansas under, Tarleton and New Mexico under, Grand Canyon, Utah under, San Diego and California under, Cal Poly over Hawaii. So between 9-0 in the NBA on the show, 6-0 on the premiums in college baseball. Hopefully you're with me there. We did win a couple of premiums in college basketball yesterday with Monmouth over Drexel, and we also had the under in Navy and BU for another 2-1 there. So please make sure you're joining me for 41 cents a day over at winnable.com. I think I'm bringing home some winners here. Nick's here for Bar. Justin's got Cat plus in his rebounds there. 9 legacies on the Clippers. Kane says the Knicks all day. And Terrell says they'll just get swept here tonight. Just a little bit of a lot. You know, I feel like the toughest one in certain situations, right, is the Sunday, Monday, right? The Sunday, Monday back-to-back. Yeah, you're in the same city or whatever, but 9 legacy here. Brooklyn Clippers. We got them everywhere back and forth here right now. Vars on Eastern Washington tonight against Weaver. Our Thompson's on the Clippers. Robert's on the Clippers. JP Parley's on the Clippers. A lot of Clippers here, you guys. Cash Kane here. He's got the, over, I think. Bar's talking Skeens and Team USA here tonight. Bobby Mack's on the over. And Greg says with the Knicks coming off the loss to the Lakers that they will win tonight. Hello to Greg. Bars on Bobby Morris here tonight against Detroit. Steve Eleftherian liking the Knicks here. Knicks always bounce back after a loss. They're a good bounce back team, he says. You know, they did bounce back after losing to OKC with that game that they beat up Denver. And Barr says, what about Kawhi, Ramon? Check that injury report. What are you going to do here without Kawhi in the line? Well, checking the injury report here tonight, it's just John Collins, like I said, I think. Oh, AOD's mad at his Pistons right now. He really wants to see this skid kind of end here. You're getting worried a little bit. All right, Greg says St. Mary's minus the points in there. Our Tom says Pistons falling off at the wrong time. All right, there Greg says last road game, the Knicks always win. All right, well, the spread is 2.5. I'm a little bit worried here, but I am going to take the New York Knicks in this one. I'm taking the Knicks against my Clippers here. I think, to me, losing to the Lakers will have them on alert here, I think, a little bit. Look, we've been strong on the Clippers. We've been backing them quite a bit. We've talked about their great run right now. I don't think there's a problem if you lose here to the Knicks. They've still done a lot of damage here lately, and should be a good one here tonight. All right, that's it for the NBA right now, and we're going to go ahead and take a look here, I think, at college basketball next. I've got 8 games I want to preview and a big day of Monday college basketball. I thought that sounded like a good idea. There are 5 games on the ice. We'll preview those in a few moments, but let's go to college basketball here tonight, and I'm going to look at conference tournament action. We'll get it started here in the Horizon League with Northern Kentucky taking on Wright State here. This tournament is in Indianapolis right now, and you got this one looking like a pick'em here at this point. In fact, wow, Wright State is now the favorite. Last night Northern Kentucky was the favorite. Northern Kentucky opened the favorite here, but now Wright State, they're taking some steam here right now. Are the Wright State Raiders? Let's flip flop the spread here. Let's copy and paste and just put it on the other side. Wright State -1.5 here. And the total, 158 or so. But we're definitely seeing a move here right now to Wright State here. They do appear to be the better cover team. I mean, they're the number 1 seed in this tournament. Meanwhile, Northern Kentucky, they're a bit of a surprise here, actually, with they're being the number 7 seed right now here in the Horizon. So let's see how you guys have it here. The Horizon played 1 game yesterday. They were the league that said, hey, we're playing 5 first-round games with 3 teams getting byes, and then the 2 worst winners of the 5 games had to play again. That would be Northern Kentucky. So Northern Kentucky is actually playing for the 3rd straight day. They beat Oakland in an upset in the first round, 85-84. Then they knocked off the 5 seed Green Bay. So long to Gottlieb there. They got walloped. 96-76. So Northern Kentucky does advance here to take on the number 1 seed. On the other side, it's Detroit and Robert Morris. You guys were talking about Robert Morris in there, and I agree. Who had Robert Morris in the chat? I like Robert Morris in that one as well, but I'm talking Wright State here in this one. Wright State comes in having won 3 straight games right now, covering all 3 with wins over Fort Wayne, Northern Kentucky, and their first conference game there, beating Cleveland 90-61 as a 14.5-point favorite. They come in pretty hot, and they've also been quite a good cover this season at 19-11 overall. They are 12-9 against the spread as a favorite, but Northern Kentucky 3-6 against the spread as an underdog. Should be noted they were 10-1 against the spread as a favorite this year, Northern Kentucky. So it's funny that they were favored in so many games. They end up the 7 seed here right now. Northern Kentucky with that win over Oakland to start, as I said, and then Green Bay. They were actually favored in that game against Green Bay, despite being the number 7 seed, going up against the number 5 seed there yesterday in that Solo Horizon game. I wasn't buying it. I thought Green Bay there would be able to take it. I actually had that as a VIP selection, and we ended up dropping it, but all right, let's see what you guys have, though, here in this one with the Horizon League getting underway here tonight. Northern Kentucky and Wright State. I'll go to the chat All-Stars here for your guys' picks. Northern Kentucky does come in having won 6 of their last 8 overall, but just 4-9 against the spread in their last 13. Wright State's won and covered 5 of their last 6 games coming in, but Northern Kentucky is just 2-6 against Wright in their last 8 meetings. They did meet twice this season, and it was Wright State winning both. They won at home 88-80 as a 2-point favorite. They won on the road 92-91 as a 3-point dog. So they've been okay. Wright's kind of a good for the money, it feels like here. But what do you think with Northern Kentucky here and Wright State? Let's go to the chat All-Stars. And Darrell, he likes Detroit there. Detroit there over over Robert Morris. Anyway, here's our tops on Wright State. Greg also liking Detroit plus those points today. Var likes Wright State. And Bobby Mack here says take Wright and also the under there. Also here, let's see, Greg has it. Maybe Wright State and the under. Could be a buzzer beater tonight. 9 Legacies liking Wright State. And so is Public Enemy. A lot of support here for Wright State, shifting to the favorite here. Man, you guys are all over the side in this one. And I don't see anybody taking the Northern Kentucky Norse here in this one. I might have to move to the total just to give us another play because everyone likes Wright State. Public Enemy does like the over here in this one. I think the teams definitely trend over for sure. You got Northern Kentucky 20-10 to the over this season, 11-5, 5-4 to the over as an underdog. Wright State though 9-12 to the under as a favorite here. I kind of want to go under, you guys. I am going to go under, I think. I know there's some support there for the over, but give me the under as my play here. I kind of like what you guys are saying, and I might need a premium. So I'm going to take the under here in this one with Northern Kentucky and Wright State. Yes, both of them went over during the regular season big time. I know that, but I'm going to take the under in this one. And Greg says he's got Wright State and Cleveland State. Cleveland State. Cleveland State game, the way they're running their tournament there at Cleveland State. I think he means, okay, he went with Wright State. I think he means, Wright State beat Cleveland State in the last round there. Okay. All right, that's going to do it for that one. I'll take the under. Let's go next to, we're going to championship time in the Southern Conference here with Furman and East Tennessee. Championship game in Asheville, North Carolina here with East Tennessee State. They're down to a 1.5 point favorite. In fact, I'm showing DraftKings here 1.5. Yeah, 1.5 pretty much everywhere here right now. Total 139-ish here in this one with Furman and East Tennessee State. Let's preview the championship game here of the Southern Conference with a tournament berth on the line for the winner of this one. For Furman, they come in here 21-12. The Paladins with tournament win here over Greensboro last time out. They won by 6. It was a push. They also beat Samford to open the tournament 86-81 as a 1.5 point dog. So credit Furman here for getting to this point. They are the number 6 seed. Meanwhile, for East Tennessee, they are the number 1 seed here in this one. For Furman, they beat Greensboro 81-75. I'm sorry, for East Tennessee State here, they beat Northwestern Carolina 69-67 yesterday. They did not cover. In fact, they failed to cover in both their tournament games so far. They beat Citadel also 83-76 and did not cover. But for Furman, Greensboro beat Samford. They upset Samford. That was a 6-3, and then beat Greensboro, who did upset Wofford. That was a 7-6 game yesterday. So Furman comes in here as the number 6 seed. Furman is just 13-16 against the spread this season, but East Tennessee State 14-17 coming in. Furman's been a solid cover here of late, no doubt about it. They also won some games down the stretch. Here overall, they beat Wofford, they beat Citadel also in the regular season here. Furman has won 4 of their last 5 coming in. East Tennessee State, despite winning 15 of their last 20, is just 0-4 against the spread their last 4 games right now. 6 of the last 7 meetings between these two teams have gone over, including both meetings here this season. They played back a few weeks ago, 78-69, as Furman lost at home to East Tennessee State. East Tennessee State was actually a 1.5 point dog, I think, of that one. But East Tennessee won at home 75-71, but did not cover, laying 5.5. Furman is 3-4 to the under as an underdog. East Tennessee State 17-14 to the over this season. East Tennessee's gone over in 9 of their last 12. Furman's gone over in 5 of their last 7 games. Furman, a long been a struggling defense when it comes to the conference tournament, but let's see what you have here in this one between Furman Paladins and East Tennessee State Buccaneers. this game, when they play East Tennessee State, this one, like I said, this is a series that goes over here, and usually it goes way over this, you guys. In fact, uh, for the last 9 times that Furman has come in to play here at um, uh, this venue here in Asheville, it always goes over. So I know they're playing East Tennessee State. That may temper it here a little bit, but let's go to the chat here in this one and see what we got. Okay, and Furman for our Tomps. Here's the bar on Furman. Cash gain on Furman. Justin's, I think, with me. Let's take it over, Justin. That's my play right there. I think this one goes over. I think we get into the 140s here, maybe even higher in this one. Greg here says Furman there. He likes Furman here, the dog in this game. All right, Greg. Public Enemy Furman money line on the over. Andrew K. Furman and over. Man, a lot of Furman here, but Robert's on ETSU here. I might be with Robert though. I'm going to take over though as my official play. Andrew K. says he likes the Furman personnel better. Actually, just thinks that's their winning, the way they'll win this one. Just better unit out there with Furman. Guys like PJ Smith in there. Steve Eleftherian, he likes ETSU as well. Of course, ETSU has the top player, I think, in the conference in Quimari Peterson, of course. All right, give me the over here in this one. All right, gang, and we got another championship game. Let's get to it with Georgia Southern. They're taking on Troy here in the Sun Belt championship game. We've talked about the Sun Belt here and their style of bracket. They also played a little bit of a tiered style, a ladder style bracket here, and we ended up with this incredible situation with Georgia Southern. Man, just incredible. Like I said, I think I was saying, did we see this before where a team would come through like Georgia Southern Eagles here? The number 10 seed Eagles, get this, you guys know, they've won 5 games, 5 days in a row. Yes, when they started here, they were actually a favorite against Old Dominion. They beat them 88-84, but they did cover 2.5. Then they played I'm saying it like this because listen to the numbers, right? They beat Old Dominion 88-84, covered the spread. Then they played Arkansas State. They were a 7-point dog. They won 80-77, got the win. Then they played South Alabama. They were a 4.5-point dog. They beat at South Alabama 94-85. Then they played Coastal Carolina and got the win there 96-72 as a 1.5-point dog. Then they played Marshall there last night 82-78. So look, they're averaging basically 90 points a game here, having won 5 days in a row, all as an underdog here. Man, can you believe it? Is it going to continue here against this Troy Trojans team that is, by the way, the number 1 seed here, or does it come to a screeching halt? Troy has been no slouch this season. They've won 3 in a row here, but this is only their second conference tournament game. They were propelled all the way to the semifinals. And so they are, I don't know, they're pretty well rested. I mean, yes, they did play yesterday, 78-70, but they didn't play 5 days in a row. And this is basically the 5th straight back-to-back for the Georgia. It doesn't, I mean, we always are talking back-to-backers in here and how it affects teams. You know, when Greg tells us about it as well, they're going to be tired. Are they going to be tired here? Or is it adrenaline? Or maybe the adrenaline is carrying this team. These two teams met just one time this season, and Troy won it 83-78 at Georgia Southern as a 4.5-point favorite. That was 159.5 on the total, and it did go over. in that game. And I think for Georgia Southern, I think they will need a high scoring game. But you know what? Troy might be willing to engage in that actually and take their chances here, I think, a little bit. Let's see what you have, though, here in this one with Georgia Southern and Troy. Georgia Southern still a pretty big dog. In fact, I'm showing it right now. The current line is six right now and 149. So clearly a move here to Georgia Southern. I mean, well, if you just think about all those games, I mean, geez, wow, what a story here with Georgia Southern right now. You got a great player in Moore, averaging over 16 points a game. Got a big man inside like Applewhite here. Moore runs the show pretty well, but Valdez is solid, kind of his counterpart there for Troy. And Dowd is definitely a bit of a force there, maybe more of a force inside. Let's see what you guys have here in this one, though. In the championship game of the Sun Belt Conference, Troy did cover in that game by 6 points. Let's look at some of the trends with these teams and see what you think here. And just an incredible game to think about, actually. Georgia Southern also did win and cover their final game of the regular season as well. So not only here, what a run. Troy, though, is 4-2 against the spread, last 6 against Georgia Southern. Troy comes in having won 4 of their last 5. Troy's gone under in 9 of their last 11 games overall. Troy just 2-5 against the spread in their last 7 here coming in. Hey, real quick, just a little bit of steam coming in here right now with Campbell and Monmouth. We already mentioned Monmouth got steamed, but right now the under getting hit here at 153 or so. I think we're down to 152, 151 and a half with Campbell and Monmouth. I would think that that's going to be an under, actually, but let's continue on with this one. I want to hear what you have to say when Georgia Southern takes on Troy here. Troy 17-13 against the spread this season. Here come the comments from the chat. All-Stars. 9 Legacy likes the Georgia Southern on the money line here. And Kane might be on Georgia Southern here as well. R. Tomps, Georgia Southern, they're just a magic here at this point. Look at everybody on Georgia Southern here. Wow. I don't think I can go on Georgia. Public Enemy is on Troy here. Look, I just think this is just too much for going up against a team like Troy. Robert McCormick's on Georgia Southern here. Andrew K., he loves what Moore has been doing with this Georgia Southern team. He's been great. Troy by double digits here. Terrell's got him to win the conference tourney there at plus 110. So good job there by Terrell. He can obviously take some points here if he wants and get even but he probably, I don't know, is he not going to chance it, just take it. The Solution, Georgia Southern here. Greg, kind of like in Troy here, but he says take the points there still. It'll be a close enough game for Greg. All right, at least we had some support in there for Troy because I'm going to take Troy. Maybe I'm just too old school. Maybe this momentum is enough here right now. But, man, 6 days in a row you're playing here in college basketball and you're going up against the number 1 seed. These are just kids, right? They can handle it, but I'm going to take Troy and lay 6 points, actually. I'm taking Troy. I can't help myself. I can't help it. Georgia Southern here, they're a team that can score, but they definitely have some woes as well. They're not a very good free throw shooting team. They're not even a great shooting team. They're just kind of a tempo team a little bit, but it has paid off here. But you're going up against a Troy team that pretty solid defensively. Near top 30 in 3-point defensive efficiency. So I'm going to have to take Troy. All right, Steve's on Georgia Southern and over. And Greg says 2 tired teams, but Troy's had basically 1 game here in the last 11 days. They played just 1 time since losing since beating Monroe back on February 27th. Yesterday was their first game. And you have the other teams is playing their fifth straight back-to-back game. Kane says over, and Georgia Southern be putting up the numbers. Yeah, maybe the over, I think. Okay, let's move on. Man, that's going to be interesting. That one's on ESPN too. So you have on ESPN, Furman and East Tennessee State, ESPN2, Georgia Southern and Troy. Why couldn't ESPN put those separate? Okay, here we go. Let's move on. We're going to move on to the Big Sky Conference here right now. I'm going to take a look at the action here with the first game out the box with Northern Colorado taking on the Montana Grizz here in Boise tonight. And you got Northern Colorado favored in this one by 3.5. Total here, 152. All right, for Northern Colorado here, they come in 20-11. Montana, sometimes, they usually have pretty good teams, but they were just 16-15 this season, so not a great season here necessarily for the Grizz coming in, but nonetheless, coming in here, let's see here, 3.5 and 1. Yeah, 3.5 and 152. Let me tell you, I want to look at the Big Sky bracket here, actually. We know who's in, but okay. Just want to see how the matchup shakes down here. So these are the quarterfinals here right now. So this is actually this is actually Montana and Northern Colorado's first game in the tournament here. Actually, the winner will take on number 1 seed Portland State. They've just broken up the quarterfinals into 2 different days. Portland State has already advanced with the win over Idaho State, and the winner will take on this Montana and Northern Colorado. Now, interestingly enough, these 2 teams just met here a week ago at Northern Colorado. Northern Colorado won it 85-57. They absolutely drubbed the Grizz, although the Grizzlies won the home game over Northern Colorado 88-57 back on January 3rd. Montana comes in here having won 2 of their last 3, but they've been struggling against the number here, failing to cover in 7 of their last 10 games. Meanwhile, for Portland State, they are 15-13 against the spread. Northern Colorado 15-13 against the spread this season. Back-to-back wins and covers to close out the season. They also beat Idaho on the road 76-67 as a 2-point dog before that game against Montana. So let's hear from you in the Big Sky Conference in this one. You do have Northern Colorado here going over in 12 of their last 10 as a 12 of their last 22 as a favorite here. It is a pretty high total, but I think for a reason. Meanwhile, for the other matchup in the Big Sky, it will be Weber State and Eastern Washington there. That one will be after this one, and the winner of that game will take on Idaho, an upset winner yesterday over Montana State. Idaho's actually won 2 games already in the tournament. They had to play a first-round game. So the number 7 seed has already advanced and plays the winner of this one. Kind of like the over in that second game. I do like the over in that second game. I have the over in that second game. Not kind of like it. I have the over in that second game. Okay, here we go. No, let's hear from you with this one with Northern Colorado and Montana. Coming off basically a 28-point loss to this very team. Talking about the Montana Grizzlies as Northern Colorado drubbed them at home there. Let's go to the chat in this one. Thanks for joining me, everybody. Northern Colorado comes in having won 9 of their last 10 games overall, going 6-2 against the spread. Montana just 3-6 straight up, 2-6-1 against the spread in their last 9 games overall. 5 of the last 7 meetings between these 2 teams have gone over, but Montana's gone under in 13 of their last 20 coming into this one. Also here for Northern Colorado, they are 11-4-1 against the spread in their last 16 games against the Montana Grizzlies. Northern Colorado under and for their last 5. Here are the plays from the chat All Stars with Dimitri is on Montana here, but Justin says he likes Northern Colorado here minus points. Cash King says Northern Colorado easily wins this one. Nine Legacies on Northern Colorado in the over. Greg Gibson here says Northern Colorado and the under. I think though, let's see, the spread though is, what did I say? 3.5 now. It was 4.5. So clearly the move, I believe, here is on Montana. Some of the books open this 4.5 here. Bars on Northern Colorado. Steve Lepterian says Northern Colorado and under. A lot of support for these Bears. Greg says Montana will be a close game, Greg says. Colorado, Montana under here for Public Enemy. And our Tops likes the over here. Yeah, I think that's right. And Montana might sneak in a cover. And Terrell says, when you got the Bears and the Grizzlies, how do you decide, right? I mean, you play dead, I guess. Money Williams here. Money, the money man. All right, Greg says got a revenge game, but they'll fall short a little bit. And I agree. I'm going to take the points here with Montana in this one. Give me the Grizz. Maybe I'm just an old Grizz head, an old Grizz head. All right. That's it for the Big Sky. Let's continue on here. Great day of college basketball. Hey, I'm going to mix it up here a little bit. Hey, you know what? This will not be the first time that we've looked at Mississippi Valley State here, right? You look at all these shows and, you know, they can't even pronounce half the nicknames right or know what conferences they're in. Hey, if you've been with the Morning Steam, you know we've got mid-major Thursdays. We've looked at we've even looked at the worst team in the country here, Mississippi Valley State. I want to say multiple times, correct me if I'm wrong, but at least a couple of times we talked about them somewhere in there, didn't we? And they are big underdogs here. In fact, the move has clearly been on Grambling here. I think they opened 12.5, and now they're down to 14 or so. They're up to 14 here right now. I don't know if Mississippi Valley, I think they're still last in the country, right, on the metrics there. 3-29 record overall. No, I don't think any other team finished with only 3. Well, Air Force did, right? Air Force had 3 wins. I know that, but one of only 2 teams in the country to finish with 3 wins this season. Got Grambling here, 14-point favorite now. You know, not the greatest cover in the world, but man, that steam came in on Grambling here. So Mississippi Valley here, like I said, they've got a few covers here of late, 3 straight covers, in fact, despite the fact that they closed the regular season with losses to Alcorn and Jackson State. But look, they lost to Alcorn by only 3 points. They covered the spread. They lost to Jackson State by only 8 points. They covered 11.5. They beat Pine Bluff. They beat Texas Southern. They actually won 2 of their last 5 games there. So pretty good when you're a 3-win team. They were double-digit underdogs in those games and won. So Mississippi Valley, 12-11 against the spread as an underdog. Grambling just 6-9 against the spread as a favorite. It does feel like, you know, maybe the jig is up a little bit here, but let's see what you got here with Mississippi Valley and Grambling. The 2 teams only met once this season. It was in February, and it was 83-62. Grambling did get the win and cover at home by 16.5. There, the total did go over in that one at 136.5 as they played to 145. For Grambling here, they've covered just 2 of their last 9 overall, but they did cover the last one there against Alabama State, 65-63 here to open the conference tournament. Their first win in the conference tournament here. this is basically this is the opener of the conference tournament. That was a regular season finale. This is a 12-9 matchup here. Grambling's the number 9. Mississippi Valley's the 12. The winner plays number 7, Jackson State, in the second round. The other side of the bracket has Alcorn and Alabama State in that one. I like the under in that other game, by the way. So let's see what you got, though, here. 4 teams have already received byes into the quarterfinals and know their opposition. Texas Southern will play Alabama A&M, and Southern will play Pine Bluff. Meanwhile, these two teams will play into those other games, and then they'll play into the number 1 and number 2 seeds, Bethune-Cookman and Florida A&M, in the quarterfinals here in 2 days. Let's go to the chat pros here as we talk little SWAC basketball here. We're not ever going to ignore the SWAC. Let's see what you got. We've already covered this conference all year long. Other shows are trying to figure out. Here we go. The Solutions got a little parlay in there with St. Mary's, Bobby Morris, and Wright State. Nice. Thank you, Solution. Nice to see you in here today. And Cash Kane says he likes the under here in this one in the Grambling game. I mean, yeah, you look at Grambling this season, right? 10-19 to the under, 5-10 to the under. As a favorite here, maybe that's the way I should go because the spread's gotten kind of high, and maybe I do think you're right there with the under here in this one. But let's keep it rolling, see what you got with these two. Definitely solid under there with Grambling. Mississippi Valley 10-13 to the under as an underdog. The first meeting went over, though, like I said. R. Thompson's on the under. Greg Gibson has Grambling by just 12 here in this one. Twisted says Furman on the money line there in that other game. And Robert here on Mississippi Valley State plus 13 points. Also here, Greg says too many points to be given up. They won't win, but they can cover 14. Talking about Mississippi Valley State in this one. All right. I'm taking Grambling. You guys, they always win this matchup. Yeah, they don't cover all the time. Great job, Mississippi Valley, obviously playing their best basketball of the year. Might be ashamed here to lay double digits here against the worst team in the country, and Grambling isn't much better, but I'm going to go ahead and lay it. I'm going to lay 14 points in this one. All right, I think that's it from the chat. Let's move on here right now to our next one. It's going to be, we're going to the Southland Conference here with Rio Grande Valley, an 8.5-point favorite up against Nicholls State. Here, total 146 in this one for Rio Grande Valley. They come in here 18-13. They're the number 3 seed. Nicholls is 14-18. They're the number 6 seed. But before you go thinking that there's a little bit of separation between these two teams, and maybe there is, but they actually finished a lot closer in the conference standings, and maybe those seedings and maybe the overall record kind of also indicates here in the Southland. For Nicholls, they were 13-7 in the conference standings. Rio Grande Valley was 8-12. But I don't know. I think let me take a look here and see what happened in the matchups, because they met in February, and it was Rio Grande Valley winning at Nicholls 92-72. Rio Grande Valley was a 3.5-point favorite on the road. Meanwhile, though, Nicholls won at Rio Grande Valley 71-69. They were a 3.5-point dog, and that was back in December. So things did shift a little bit. Things did shift a little bit there over time. Hey, a little steam coming in here right now in a game that we talked about already, and maybe they're listening to me. Steam on the under here with Northern Kentucky and Wright State. Remember, that was my pick in that one, and it was 159. It's down here to 157, I believe, right now with Northern Kentucky and Wright State. In fact, 156 right now at Bet Online. So a pretty big move there. Obviously, I triggered it on the under there with Northern Kentucky and Wright State. All right, so they each won on each other's home court. Now, this has usually been a Nichols dominated series for sure coming in. Nichols has won 4 of the last 5 between these two teams. Nichols also comes in 4-0-1 against the spread in their last 5 games overall. Rio Grande Valley's won 12 of 14 and covered 9 of their last 12 actually coming into this one. Rio Grande Valley's gone under in 5 of their last 6 games coming in here. Rio Grande Valley 8-11 to the under as a favorite. 11-18 to the under actually overall here. And for Nichols, they are 12-8 to the over as an underdog. The regular season meetings, the game that Rio Grande Valley won, it did go over. That was 164, and it went over 148. The meeting that Rio Grande Valley won, it was 71, like I said, 71-69. That was well under the 145 there by 5 points or so. Let's go to the chat with this one. With Nichols taking on Rio Grande Valley, 8:30 Eastern, 5:30 Pacific here in Lake Charles, Louisiana. The other matchup is New Orleans and Corpus Christi. This one is a ladder tournament. So Nichols beat Northwestern State 61-47 to advance here into the quarterfinals. Meanwhile, New Orleans with the win over Houston Christian, 73-60 to get here. Stephen F. Austin and McNeese await the winners in the semifinals already. They graduated all the way to the semifinals with their placement seating. Let's go to the chat before I die and see what you got here with Rio Grande Valley is going to start it off here with, Var is going to take Rio Grande Valley. Terrell likes the under in the early SWAC game there. The early SWAC game there. Let me cover that a little bit there with Alcorn and Alabama State. Thank you, Terrell. I totally agree with you. Nichols here for Robert. Justin likes the over here in this one. Bobby Mack, though, on the under. And Greg here says Rio Grande Valley in the under. Don't sleep on Nichols State, he says. All right. And not as many comments on some of these teams down here a little bit here in the Southland, but I'm going to make my call here in this one. You know, you got, like I said, Rio Grande Valley, they're kind of the under team here for sure. I mean, I feel pretty strong maybe about them here, but I'm going to take Rio Grande Valley actually to roll in this one. I think I got a premium here in this game, but I'm going to take the side here, and I'm going to go with Rio Grande Valley to win and cover here against Nichols. Nichols has been solid, but I've been a little bit disappointed here right now. I'll lay it here with Rio Grande Valley. All right. And that's going to do it here for this one. Thank you to Twisted. Yeah, no problem. Let's just treat everyone. You know what? We want them to be here. We want to have everyone here. We love having a bunch of viewers. So I don't mind you guys. The people who are here every day, that's who we are doing it for. And let's see, Dimitri on the under. And maybe it will be a Cinderella story. All right, let's go to one more tonight. We got to go to the West Coast Conference here late, and it's going to be Oregon State and Gonzaga here for my final preview. Now, there is a later game here between Santa Clara and St. Mary's. We did talk about that steam. I do like St. Mary's in that game. It's gone up here pretty high, but I'm not previewing it here and would not have it on the show, but I did take St. Mary's in that other one. Anyways, here we go with Oregon State. Like I said, hey, why you firing Tinkle, man? All right, here we go. Gonzaga obviously coming in off of the loss here, and they didn't look good in that game. But you know what? St. Mary's kind of knows exactly what to do against Gonzaga. So, yeah, Gonzaga still here. Still earn the number one seed despite the loss. They're 28-3. Oregon State, the number 4 seed, 17-15. Oregon State 10-8 as a dog this season. Gonzaga just 15-13 against the spread as a favorite. 10-8 for Oregon State against the spread as a dog. Should clarify. Gonzaga, one of the biggest under teams in the country here, 10-21 to the under. They're also 9-19 to the under as a favorite. This team is a solid under, no matter how you look at it here. I've got to think it's probably going to go that way here against Oregon State here. I mean, with this matchup. But let me know what you have here with this one. I'll cover some of the trends here anyway with Gonzaga. You know, this is the last games for Gonzaga in the West Coast Conference here as they're moving on to the Pac-12. They don't play football, we know that, but every other sport they'll be in the Pac-12 here moving forward. For Gonzaga here, they've covered 5 of their last 7 games overall. Oregon State 7-3 against the spread. Their last 10 games, Gonzaga's gone under in 6 of their last 7. Oregon State's gone over in 5 of their last 6 games here. The Oregon State's 19-13 to the over this season, 10-8 to the over as an underdog. But Gonzaga's a hardcore under here. Might be hard to get me off of the under here. The steam came in on Oregon State here, though, and this spread, I think, may need updating. No, it's still 18.5 or 19 here, so still Gonzaga going to be a huge favorite here against the Beavers. You know, you think about when these two teams played the regular season, it was an 81-61 win for Oregon State. For Gonzaga, Oregon State did not cover. It was a 19.5 point spread, so cover the spread by half a point. The two teams did meet twice last year in regular season play. Gonzaga covered at home, a 98-60 is a 15.5 point favorite, but Oregon State did beat Gonzaga last year at home, 97-89. Both games last year were very high scoring, but I don't know if that's going to be the case this time around. Let's see what you have in the chat with these two at the West Coast Conference. This one's at 9 Eastern and 6 Pacific. Justin says he's got Gonzaga to roll. Public Enemy, Gonzaga. And Greg says Gonzaga. Cash Kane is on the over here. Bobby Mack likes Oregon State. So does our Tops. So does Terrell, liking Oregon State plus these points. And Terrell says, can you believe Gonzaga was a $3 favorite to win the conference, right? I mean, it's going to be – now let's, we'll dial it back just a little bit. St. Mary's still has to beat Santa Clara, and we know that Santa Clara can bite you for here and there, but Santa Clara did beat Pacific 76-68 on the other side of the bracket to advance to beat St. Mary's. Remember, St. Mary's and Gonzaga both got buys into the semifinals here. Oregon State's game yesterday was just 78-77 over San Francisco. They were an underdog in that game, so they've won and covered 3 of their last 4. All right, let's see a few more here. Gonzaga mad. They ain't playing with the big boys. Well, right. And next year it seems like, oh, hey, you're moving into the Pac-12. All you're doing is moving into the Mountain West, basically. Basically, the Mountain West is now the Pac-12 next year with the addition of also Washington State and Oregon State, I believe. So Gonzaga and Oregon State are going to the Pac-12, the new Pac-12. All right, Cash Kane says he thinks that Oregon State will have a little bit of offense for these guys here. All right. Hey, I'm taking the Beavers in this one. Give me Oregon State here. I'm going to take these points with Oregon State. All right, that's going to do it for college basketball today. Thank you to everyone in the chat. We're going to go over 5 games in the NHL here. And then I'll preview the early games of the World Baseball Classic to get us out of here. We're going to start off here with the Kings on the road taking on the Columbus Blue Jackets here. Man, the Columbus now $1.40 favorite here on the move overnight. And why not? I mean, they've been so strong at home, and the Kings have had plenty of issues here. No doubt about it. I'd say the total here, maybe it's 6 over 15. One book has it slightly shaded. It might be 6 flat. But for Columbus here right now, they did lose last time out, snapping a 3-game winning streak. Columbus beat Rangers, beat Nashville, beat Florida, but they lost to Utah last time out. For the Kings, they're coming in off a loss to Montreal at home. The Kings were on a long homestand, and now they're kicking it out here on the road. That was, I think, a 6-game homestand. You know, they kind of made up for that big, long road trip that they had to take in February, so they got the luxury of playing at home for a while, but hasn't really benefited them here. Man, the Kings, are they going to miss the postseason here after having such a promise for this year? Man, it really feels like they've been bad, especially at home. And on the road, they're not too bad. I mean, they're 15-8-7 on the road. This is where they thrive. But they're 8-15 as an underdog this year. Usually, if they've been on the road and a favorite, it's been a little bit better. But that's ship and sail. For Columbus here, they're 18-5 as a favorite. So he got LA 8-15 as a dog, Columbus 18-5 as a favorite. Columbus also 17-8 at home. They've held serve, that's for sure here. And yeah, you know, Columbus, I feel bad, man. The Kings, they need wins here desperately. The Columbus Blue Jackets are, you know, just fine. I mean, they're playing so well that they're sitting here right now in 4th place. I think they put a little separation on Philadelphia and Washington in the metro. So, man, Columbus is playing well here. You gotta lay a little bit of a price. Columbus did win the first meeting in LA back in December 3-1. And Kings just struggling here, losing 7 of their last 9. They have beaten Columbus in 6 of the last 9 meetings overall. Columbus is 14-4 straight up in their last 18 games overall. Columbus has won 6 of their last 8 at home, and they've beaten the Kings in 4 of the last 6 meetings between the two clubs here in Columbus. 4 of the last 6 meetings have gone under between the two. Kings have gone under in 5 straight on the road. They did go over in 4 of their last 6 in those games at home, but on the road here, Kings just 7-15 to the under as an underdog right now. Let's see how you have it in this one with the Kings taking on Columbus here. Will the Kings go back to not being able to score any goals on the road? Now, this one is at 4 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Pacific in our Euro matinee special, prime time Euro game here. We'll see if that continues to work. But I'm going to take the under in this one with the Kings and the Blue Jackets. Give me the under here with these two. I have a bad feeling about the Kings here tonight. Things aren't going well, and my Kings are going to miss the playoffs. Here we go. Let's take a look with our Thompsons. Liking the over, though, here in this one. And Justin likes the Blue Jackets, Public Enemy Blue Jackets, and over. Jordy says Blue Jackets. JP Farley on the Blue Jackets. Robert's going over here as well. Am I the only one going under? Nope. 9 Legacy says Kings and the under. Robert's on the Kings here. And Greg says 3-2 Jackets. I think I'm right in line with Greg here in this one. I'm going to take the under here with the Kings and the Blue Jackets. Next up, we've got Calgary Flames on the road here taking on the Washington Capitals. Let me fix that graphic there. All right, there we go. Yeah, you got the Capitals here on a 3-game losing streak right now. Awkward timing here for Washington with losses to Montreal, Utah, and Boston. Don't want to be losing here at this time of the year for the Washington Capitals. They're starting to lose contact in the Metro Division, tied on 69 points for fifth place with the Philadelphia Flyers. Meanwhile, for Calgary, we know how bad they can be on the road. They're down 9.25 units on the road this season with just a 9-18-3 record, but they did win their last game impressively over Carolina, 5-4. How about that? They snapped a 4-game losing streak. Still, they're 9-18 on the road this season. Not great. Washington is 19-11 at home, no matter how you look at it here, and also 24-18 is a favorite. But I think you got to look at the puck line more so in this one, with the line up there at heavy duty here at 195 for Calgary. They are 17-31 as a puck line dog, so yeah, it's just okay, a little bit above what I'd like to see, so not awful. But for Washington here, 24-18 is a puck line favorite. That's not great, actually. So, can they cover 9.5? I mean, one night. Can they cover a 195 here on this puck line? Let's see what you have here in this one. The two teams did meet their first meeting back in Calgary back in January. It was 3-1. Washington actually got the win on the road in that game. Washington comes in here having gone under in 5 straight games at home. 7 of their last 8 games overall have gone under. Calgary's gone under in 5 straight on the road right now. 4 of the last 5 meetings between the two teams here in Calgary have gone under. This feels like an under here, but let's see what you have in this one with Calgary and Washington. Washington is 13-20 to the under at home and 17-25 to the under as a favorite here. Let's go with it here and see what you have. Calgary's lost 4 of the last 5 meetings between the two teams overall, but the one win was here in Washington last February. 13 months ago, last season, I should say. And let's see how you have this one with Calgary on the road here, taking on Washington. Man, is anyone covering a puck line anymore? It seems like, but Calgary's pretty weak, but still, they are minus $1.50 on the puck line. This line's about $2 here at Bovada. Here we go with, look to the chat here. Here we go. 9 Legacies on the Flames here on the money line. Greg likes the Capitals here. Our Tom's liking the over in this one. Cash Kane here says Capitals money line. Also here, JP Farley on the under here. I mean, I'll probably just take the under. Let's see here. Jordy Flames on the money line. I guess you can't pass this price up. I mean, Washington is not, it does feel like they are slipping here a little bit. They have not played well over the last couple of weeks. Robert on the under, though, but he says take the Caps -1. Public Enemy, same thing. Caps -1 in regulation there will get price down here a little bit at least. It's just that Flames so bad right on the road here. But like I said, who's covering any puck lines these days? It feels like the final score of the last 3 meetings in this series has been 3-1. So maybe that will be it here in this game. Give me the under here in this one. I better just take the under with Calgary and Washington. All right, next up, we got the Rangers here on the road taking on the Flyers. The narrative is out the window, by the way, if you didn't already know. The Rangers winning ways on the road, they've been over now for a couple of weeks. Rangers actually here have been dropping games on the road. Remember they would only win on the road and they couldn't win at home. Well, it's kind of the opposite now. The Rangers have dropped 6 straight on the road. Of course, they've dropped in a lot of games. Lost 15 of their last 19 overall, but hey, at least they beat Philadelphia. Usually, they've actually won 13 of the last 18 meetings between the two teams. Philadelphia did win the last meeting, though, just a couple weeks ago in New York, 3-2. Of course, they did. Rangers won back in January at Philadelphia, 6-3. The Rangers also won at home in December, 5-4. So we're playing the final game of the season series here in this one with the Philadelphia Flyers favored here, $1.50 right now. And yeah, the Rangers are struggling, but the Flyers haven't been that great either. They haven't picked up the pace, and I'm just saying in general, but the Flyers are coming off of a win over Pittsburgh. 4-3 at Pittsburgh there. They lost to Utah, but before that they had consecutive wins over the Rangers, over Boston, over Toronto. I might stand corrected here a little bit with the Flyers right now. They're 13-6 as a favorite this year. They're 14-10 at home. You know, the Rangers, like I said, remember they had that great record on the road. They're now just 16-15 on the road, and they're also 12-24 as an underdog. The Flyers are 13-6 as a favorite. I just don't know if I trust the Flyers here, really. Flyers still have won 4 of the last 5. 4 of the last 5 meetings, 4 of their last 5. 4 of the last 5 meetings between these two teams have gone over, but the Flyers have gone under in 8 of their last 9 overall, including 6 straight games at home. They're 7-12 to the under as a favorite. Yeah, the Rangers are a little bit more of a higher scoring team on the road, 19-14 to the over, and they're also 20-16 to the over as an underdog here. You do have Igor in there going up against Vladar, and I'm going to take the under here in this one with the Rangers and the Flyers tonight. Give me the under as my play here on the morning steam. I'll go under Rangers and Flyers. That last meet, when the Flyers won, it was 3-2 and an under. When the Rangers won, both games of this year had 9 goals. Let's see what the chat has here. It's going to be our Tomps on the Flyers, Public Enemy on the Flyers. Greg likes the Flyers. JP likes the Flyers. And Robert likes the under. Rangers puck line here for Cash Kane. Rangers minus 220 on that puck line, but again, you know, they were good on the road. They've kind of fallen apart here right now. I kind of want to trust them in this spot, actually, but give me the under here in this one with the Flyers and the Rangers. All right, a couple more here on the ice tonight, and then we'll look at the early games from the World Baseball Classic, huh? How about it? Mammoth and Blackhawks here. Hey, give the Blackhawks some credit. They played pretty well here of late. They haven't gotten any wins. They lost to Columbus last time out in overtime. Before that, they Chicago here. It was Dallas. Dallas. They lost to Dallas 4-3 in overtime yesterday. At Dallas here, so they returned home for this one on the back-to-back. Before that, they did lose at home to Vancouver. They played well in a loss to Winnipeg. They did beat Utah back on March the 1st. Chicago won it in Utah 4-0 in that one. Chicago at home 12-15 this season. Utah as a favorite though. 26-15 right now. This is a pretty big price for this, Utah team. They've been good, no doubt. Yes, Chicago is pretty bad, but still, Chicago, 39-20 is a puck line underdog. I think that is very acceptable. Utah, 16-25 as a puck line favorite here. That's pretty good too. Let's see how you guys have this one between Utah and Chicago here on Monday night. For Utah here, they've actually won 6 of their last 8 on the road. They've won 4 of their last 5 overall. Utah just 1-5 in their last 6 games in Chicago. Though some of those were, 2 of those I believe were as Arizona, but Chicago's gone under in 5 of their last 7 overall. 6 of the last 9 meetings between these two franchises have gone over. Chicago has dropped 6 of their last 7, and they've lost 8 of their last 10 at home. I don't care. I'm taking the Chicago Blackhawks plus 1.5 at home here at minus $1.45. I'm taking the Blackhawks here. No one covers puck lines anymore, do they? Here we go with JP Farley likes the Blackhawks. Cash Kane likes the Blackhawks. Robert likes the Blackhawks. All right. 9 Legacy Rangers puck line, Blackhawks money line here. Our chat liking the Blackhawks tonight. We've actually won 3 of the last 4 meetings between the two teams. They met back in March 1st, and as I said, 4-0. They also had a earlier meeting, and the Blackhawks won it by the score of 3-1 at home in that one. So I'm taking the Blackhawks here. This one's probably going to be 3-2, I would think, tonight. Even if Utah wins, I think Chicago will probably get the money on the puck line. Here's Public Enemy, though. He'll lay that $2 price on the road with the money line there. All right, one more tonight here. Let's go out to the West Coast with a 9 o'clock start. There's Jordy on the Blackhawks money line. Blackhawks money line there for Jordy. Okay, it's going to be the Senators here taking on the Canucks. Late night action here, 9 Eastern, 6 Pacific with Vancouver. They're a big underdog here. Now, I don't know if I have so much. I don't know if I can do 2 ugly dogs here. In this one, Vancouver's been a little bit more of a struggle of late. They just lost to Winnipeg on the road, although it was close. They lost 3-2 in overtime in that one. They did beat Chicago 6-3 on the road 2 games ago. Before that, they were struggling, and they've been struggling. They are 6-19 at home so far this season. Ottawa, meanwhile, 17-12 on the road, but got to look at it from a puck line perspective here. Ottawa, 15-29 is a puck line favorite. It's about average. It's about what you would expect. Vancouver is a puck line underdog. 28-24. That is no good at all, really, as a puck line underdog there. You really want to, like I said, you want to be a puck line dog. You want to be close to 60, 65%, actually, not just a couple of games over 500. So it does feel like Ottawa is much the best here with these two, but let's see how you have it. You got to think that goals are on the docket with this team, with these two teams, right? Ottawa's won 8 of their last 11 overall. They're just 2-5 against Vancouver in the last 7 meetings. Ottawa's won 4 of their last 5 on the road. Vancouver's dropped 8 of 9, 15 of their last 17 games at home here. This series has gone over in 8 of the last 10 meetings. Vancouver's gone over in 4 of the last 5 with Ottawa here in Vancouver. I got to think that it's going to be, 6.5 under 20. It is pretty high here. Maybe there's 6 over right now at Circa, and this line, man, it's kind of gotten away here a little bit. I'm showing now some 235s out there. I'm going to take the Ottawa Senators here to win this one on the road, and I'm going to take them on the puck line. I am going to take a puck line here. Famous last words. I said the same thing yesterday on the late game, right? Oh, no, not last night. It must have been the night before. Okay, let's go to the chat. This is the last game of the hockey, and then I'm going to talk a little baseball here. Senators for Cash Kane. 9 Legacy says Canucks on the money line, getting that upset. How about the Senators in regulation? That'll get the price down for JP Farley. Cash Kane. Hey, everyone, like this video, subscribe to our channel Sports Money here on YouTube. Hey, Robert Dixon's here. Good morning to Robert. He likes the Senators on the puck line. Art Thompson's on the over here. Hey, I need a premium. So Robert here on the over as well. Lots of over support in this one with Ottawa and Vancouver tonight. Also, Jordy on the over as well, man. Maybe I should have just went with the over here on the show. No reason to send it out as a premium to anybody if everybody's already on the over. All right, that's it for the hockey tonight. Enjoy here. A great card today, huh? Hey, all right. I'm going to talk a little bit of baseball and then we'll get on out of here, do the drawing, and have a great sports betting day. Thank you for joining me here. I'm going to sweep the board, the NBA here. If anybody missed it, the top story. I went 9-0 in the NBA on this show yesterday. I might have to go back and watch it to make sure, but that's what it says here. I bet all the games. I mark them down. So, okay, let's go to the World Baseball Classic. And did see one game already come home today. Korea advances to the quarterfinals here over Australia, 7-2 last night. So, we're going to get into some of the other games here right now. I'm just going to kind of touch on them a little bit. I'm going to talk the early games here. I may have a package here of some late games since we got some interesting games tonight with Cuba and Puerto Rico. Also, Venezuela takes on Nicaragua, and Mexico takes on the United States. So no college baseball here probably for today. There are 3 games today. We'll see if I'm interested here. I might more focus here a little bit on the 3 college women's games tonight. But let's see here what we've got in the World Baseball Classic. And we're going to go first up here with, let me make sure I got the right the standings and make sure we have where we're standing here with some of these teams. All right, let's go to this one. I'm going to talk first here. Dominican Republic is taking on Israel here. Dominican Republic 2-0. Man, they've outscored their opponents 24-4. Israel is 1-1 right now. Israel does have a win in the tournament here over Nicaragua. They shut them out 5-0 there yesterday. But the Dominican Republic lineup is rolling here. They are -7.5, maybe even -8 here right now. The Dominican Republic has already blasted 7 home runs in 2 games with Vladdy and Soto leading that lineup. Caminero went deep yesterday despite getting a hit on the hand, I think it was. So this offense here, I don't know. What do you think? Compare this offense to the United States. Now, Israel's roster does compete well internationally against non-baseball powers, if you will, but I think the difference with the pro-level bats here for the Dominican Republic, I think Brian Belo is starting here for the Dominican Republic today. Israel will have Ryan Prager in there, so he'll be under a little bit of pressure for sure. The Dominicans beat Israel in the last time they played in the World Baseball Classic 10-0. So even if Israel hangs around early, Dominican Republic will blast them in the end. And I do like the Dominican Republic here. It's going to be close on that line, it feels like here. I think over might be the best play. Maybe the score will be I don't know, 11-3 maybe. Like I said, Dominican Republic. I'm going to look at the line here real quick. It was 7.5 minus $1.25 when I made my notes here, but I want to peek at it again to see if it went to 8 runs yet. Nope, 7.5 minus 140, total 12.5. I think the total is the better play here. It'll be close, man. That line, it's just moving here right now. Bovada went to 7.5 minus 130. So I guess I prefer Dominican Republic, but I think the over will be the better play in the end. I think they can get to 14 runs or so in this one. So Fernando likes the over as well. And Greg's playing his little spring training action here. Okay, next up. Still going to look at all 3 games here early on today. I think the next one here I've got is Panama versus Colombia. This one also is at noon here. And noon Eastern, 9 Pacific with Colombia and Panama. Panama had a nice win yesterday over Canada. A little bit of a stunner, no doubt about it, of Canada losing that game, and now they're in trouble. They're on the outside looking in because Cuba's 2-0 right now. But in this one with Panama and Colombia, Colombia ended up, they're eliminated right now. They are 0-3. Panama still alive. They're going to need some big time help. They're going to need Cuba to lose both. Puerto Rico is 2-0 right now. Cuba is 2-0. This group is a little bit behind in the games, so we will see here. This is Colombia's last game, though, and it is Panama's last game. So Panama needs a win here for sure, and then they're going to need some help. But they definitely came through yesterday in the win over Canada. You know, they had an hour and 25-minute worth of rain delay in there, and Panama was able to get the win. Colombia, meanwhile, lost to Cuba 7-4. Colombia was going to start Julio Teran, but I think he ended up with a shoulder pain, so a little bit of a negative there for Colombia. The bullpen's already been I think they used 9 pitchers against Cuba. For Colombia, it might be Luis Patino here. So, look, he has a talent, I think, to dominate, but he's kind of struggled with his command a little bit and consistency, I think, in preseason is what I was reading about him. So we'll see. Again, you got the pitch count here in the first round. So I think bullpen fatigue is going to be a major factor. Colombia has used a ton of pitchers here for sure. So I think the runs could come late. I think there could be a lot of runs actually late in this game. So Panama should win it. Let's see what the price is here. Is about $1.40 or so. I think you got to like Panama. I think that looks like actually a pretty good price. You can get a little plus money on the run line actually at -1.5 at plus $1.40 or so. Panama, despite their record, they had that 10-inning loss, remember, to Puerto Rico. They're pretty good team, but seeing a lot of scoring, I think, with these games here in the stadium in Puerto Rico. The old I remember watching Montreal Expos games. One year the Montreal Expos played half their schedule down in Puerto Rico. There was even talk back in the day that they were going to play half their games in Puerto Rico and half in Montreal. They're called the Washington Nationals now, by the way. So look, both teams playing pretty effectively here. I don't mind Colombia despite their poor record. I think they've got a decent team. I think they ended up with a pretty tough draw here actually, but Panama's got the fresher pitching. I think that gives them an edge here in this one. So I'll take Panama here. I think it's a good play at -$1.40, and I like the over too. I like over 8.5 here in this one. Let's see. Yeah, 8.5. I think I'll lay the run line a little bit with Panama at plus $1.30. The money line's $1.55 now, up from $1.40 or $1.45. So I'll take Panama here. If you just want to play the money line, that's okay. And I think I'm going to go over again in this one. All right, let's see. Big crypto, like in Dominican Republic and the over. Greg's playing a little 2-team parlay there in the spring training today. And let's see here. Dominican Republic on the run rule over Israel today. Man, it's a party when Dominican Republic plays, isn't it? All right, I think there's one other game here. I think 2 teams that have been eliminated. I think, 2 teams that have been knocked out, but I'll preview this one. Anyways, here it's an afternoon game, 1 p.m. Eastern, 10 Pacific, with Great Britain and Brazil. I was watching a news piece yesterday on Sky News because I like to watch Sky News, a kind of different angle than Fox and CNN. You get a little bit from a British perspective, a little bit. And like I said, during this war coverage, I don't know. I don't want to bring it up here right now because the war sucks. But even though we're winning, we're killing them. We're minus 100 million to win, but Al Jazeera. I watch mostly Al Jazeera for the coverage a little bit. Okay, so you do have here Brazil and Great Britain in this one. And so I was watching the story there. Great Britain is having a real baseball resurgence, and I don't know if they're going to, improve, get better, more people involved, but Great Britain is starting kind of like the way they've kind of embraced some of the American sports a little bit, even though we're obviously a little temper tantrum there with Trump and Starmer, but they've really taken to baseball. They really like baseball over there in Great Britain. All of a sudden, we know it's cricket is their, paddle sport or batting sport, if you will. Great Britain here favored by 3.5, I think, maybe 3. The total here is 10.5. Great Britain run line is -1.5 at -240. The -2.5 line for Great Britain is -$1.55, and the -3 line is $1.30. And I don't know, they seem to be putting out a pretty good team out there. Brazil's had their moments as well, even though both teams enter 3-3. But I think the gap in the talent of the rosters are pretty significant here. Great Britain has scored. They scored 7 against Italy. They scored a couple of runs against Mexico, but Brazil has lost their games by a combined 40-5 overall, and really their pitching sucks. They've given up all those runs. So, they've had obviously the tough opponents in the U.S. For Great Britain. Jazz Chisholm is kind of their guy here, and they've got several minor leaguers on the team that can exploit this Brazil pitching. I think Great Britain's look far more competitive, so I think Great Britain can win and cover the run line here. Actually, I'd be willing to lay the 2.5, but a little bit of juice, or maybe even 3 here over Brazil. And I think I just might go over again in all 3 of these early games right now. I'm willing to take the over 10 here, 10.5. What did I say it was? 10 flat here, actually. So I think I can go over here in this one with Brazil, with Great Britain and Brazil. I think Brazil's pitching's been vulnerable. I think we're looking at easy here, probably 8-3, 8-4, right in there. I think Great Britain wins in the 8-3 or 8-4 range in this one. Hey, you might have heard a little bit of steam in the background here, and man, darn it! I talked about I took Rio Grande Valley over Nichols because I said I want to save the under for a premium, but I still might. But total's moving under here at Rio Grande Valley and Nichols. It was 146, but we're seeing a steam move here to the under right now in that one, and it is quickly down here to 143.5. Oh my gosh, I better get on that. All right, that's going to do it. And then later tonight, I'm not going to preview these ones here, but we'll have a package, I think, over at winnable.com. And like I said tonight, Cuba and Puerto Rico in that one against Cuba. Learning about Cuba, having some pizza. Cuba is Puerto Rico about a 2.5 point favorite, 2.5 run favorite in that one. The total is 9.5. Cuba or Puerto Rico -2.5 at -110. Cuba, though, the interesting team there, certainly. Also tonight, Venezuela and Nicaragua. You got Venezuela favored by 6.5 runs. Wow, it's got a lot of major league talent there in that. And who knows, maybe Venezuela with with their newfound, I don't know about freedoms or whatever it is, but total in that one, 10.5 over. And then finally, Mexico and the United States tonight. USA -425 on the run line, -3.5, -115. And the total there is 11 in that one. Really? Wow. That would be something, huh? All right, that's going to do it here. Great to have everyone here joining me today. I want to thank all the folks in the chat. We're going to do a drawing here right now. Hey, thanks to all the subscribers right now. I hope you were rewarded there yesterday with a few winners here anyway, and I'd love to hear from you guys. It's just 41 cents a day when you use the promo code STEAM over at winnable.com. This is how you support me here on the channel. The only thing Mike is paying me here is I think some hot dogs. And then what else did he say? What else was he going to send me? Some other food, hot dogs, and what was it? It wasn't pizza. I mean, what else would he send me? But Mikey only pays me in food, so please, 41 cents a day, consider subscribing. I have several updates a day, especially in other sports. We've had good runs in women's college basketball and some other sports as well, college baseball picks. If you're interested in playing these other games and you don't do the work, I do the work here. That's what I do. I sit here all day and I work on my, uh, packages to send out. I love capping, and I love if you guys would subscribe over at winnable.com for just 41 cents. When you subscribe there, use the promo code STEAM. It takes it down to $17.10 per month. You get several updates a day. It's not a donation. You get updates all day long from me. Usually it's between, I'd say, 2, 3, 4, 5 updates a day over with some of my favorite plays. You get a lot of free plays here, and I don't regurgitate any of the information. You rarely are going to see me put in like the same plays or something. The plays you get here are the complimentary plays. They're not the stronger plays that I have to offer. Those are over at winnable.com, but it comes up looking pretty cool. You get a play. These are the free picks right here. Look at this. You got the win there, Portland and Pacers and Trailblazers, a VIP pick. That's the free subscription here, and then you get other picks as well. I'm going to be all involved in tennis today. Don't forget, we had that college baseball card yesterday. That went 6-0 there yesterday. Sometimes the
goalies.
The AI doesn't catch sometimes you see these ones where it lists the AI winners. For example, here were the winners that we had in college basketball yesterday. The AI will pick those up. Sometimes the baseball or something it doesn't, but try to make sure the AI gets in there and shows you the wins and the losses. But still, we send the picks out. Thanks for spending a couple of hours with me here today. And let's go to Mikey Money. He's going to tell you how to get involved with me and him and MMA Jeff over at Winnable.
Hey, it's Mikey Money here, letting you know the Sports Money team is live on Winnable. Come check out our best bets.
For a low monthly cost, you get the very best bets delivered instantly to your phone by text the moment they're locked in. No delays, no missed lines, just the smartest plays at the best odds.
We do the work, you get the plays, and they're sent right to your phone right when we drop them.
Don't wait, don't guess, don't miss the line. Join the winning team today and start cashing tickets with Winnable.
All right, catch me over at winnable.com/Ramon, and you can get those great plays with me. Use the promo code STEAM at checkout. Save. Guy's got a great voice, doesn't he? Let's do the drawing here right now. See who's going to get 1 month for free of these plays. You got Steve, you got Justin, you got Jimmy, you got Arcane, you got AOD in there, you got Steve Lefterian, you got JP, you got the winner, Dimitri Mamo. Hello. Thank you, Dimitri. If you want to get 1 month of plays, go to winnable.com/Ramon. Use the promo code WINNER to save 20%. And don't forget, if you don't like my plays and maybe we lose or whatever, I don't think we're going to, but make sure you cancel and don't be like that guy that canceled a year and a half later and did chargebacks of $300 on me and they had to allow it. So make sure you cancel. There will be just like anything when you order. I mean, it goes to automatic after you subscribe. So I'm not trying to pull any fast ones on anybody, but that's how I think it's fair, to do that. So when you subscribe, it will charge you at the end of the subscription if you do not cancel. But hey, I think I'm going to win. I want you to be on board with me. So just want to let everybody know that little disclaimer there. And so many of you, I mean, I don't know. I'm not really growing anything because we got so many people here already subscribing in the chat. So really appreciate everyone who kind of looks at the plays. Like I said, we don't have any guarantees, right? These are just more plays. You don't have to even play them all with me. That's just, my opinions out there. And hey, I love your opinions too. You'd be surprised how many times I write down your picks in there and I say, oh, look, I've got, Greg on this one, or I've got Jordy on this one, and I like that, or I've got Steve on it, or I've got R. Thompson on it, or I've got Bobby Mack on, and then I'll take that as my play because I don't know what I want to bet, and I've got my crew here that always support me, so I got to bet on these games. Hey, one more Steam play, and then I'll let you go. Detroit and Robert Morris. You guys already were talking about that Robert Morris game. The Steam just came in on the under there. Like I said, I'm on Robert Morris here. Just talked about it as my play, but the Steam just came in on the over in the Robert Morris game here. And right now it has gone up from 147 here to 149 at circa. Steam to the over on Detroit and Robert Morris. That's going to do it here for the Morning Steam. We'll be back tomorrow with more Morning Steam. And Mikey will get you ready for the primetime action tonight with pre-gaming at 5 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. Pacific. Note the time change here now. I think I've got it down here. So make sure you join Mikey tonight with that coverage. And that's going to do it here for the Morning Steam and for the Sports Money Network. I'm Ramon Scott. So long.
That's gonna cover, that's gonna cash. Then we make the 100-yard dash to the window. I don't know what you thought. It's Ramon Scott running so hot. Sports make money and we make money with sports money every single day. NFL, NHL, NCAA. Stay away from the juice or might play a parlay. It's the Morning Steam. What? Ramon Scott. Sports money. What? Wake your ass up and let's get to